Everyone, and welcome to an episode of Coffee with Carl. I'm your host, Carl Zoellner, one of the attorneys with Anderson Business Advisors. And today I would like to talk a little bit about notaries. So we get questions fairly frequently, considering there's several documents that we produce that require notaries, and when and what a notary is. So a little understanding behind that probably goes a long way when it comes to when do you need or when should you use a notary. The first piece, just to note, is a notary does not make something legal or not. The notary is in position to basically say whoever is signing is who they say they are. So that's why when you go to a notary, you got to bring your ID so they can confirm you are who you say you are. The other piece of that puzzle or pie is that when somebody notarizes something, it also basically puts a date and a time stamp on what you're doing. So for documents like assignments of beneficial interest, things like that, it can be helpful to have that third-party verification of when that happened, so that if that time or date is ever challenged, there's a disinterested third party who can confirm when that assignment happened. That tends to be the most relevant case because ultimately let's say I have a land trust and I want to assign the beneficial interest, that assignment is private. It doesn't get filed anywhere, doesn't get recorded anywhere. So there's really no other verification from a disinterested party unless you have a notary notarize it. So like I said, when we look at notaries, number one, they don't make something legal or not, although there are some instances where things are required to be notarized. Just there's different little state laws and quirks out there. I think at last check, there's something like over 3,000 counties in the United States, and most of them have slightly different laws. So there's just some variation in there on when a notary is required. Rule of thumb for Anderson documents is if there is one required, we'll include the notary block in the document. Like I said, the next piece or the piece that you look at is it practical or is it beneficial to have a notary block added? And for most trust assignments, I would say yes, especially if there's, like I said, that assignment of beneficial interest that is going to be a public or a private record, to have somebody else confirm date and time it happened, just in case it becomes relevant at some point if you get sued there. So notary block, number one, usually not a huge deal. Most times these days, it's going to be, you can even do them virtually, just because through COVID, a lot of places loosened up the requirements and virtual notaries are allowed in a lot more places than they used to be. Not everywhere, but in a lot more places than they used to be. And like I mentioned as well, it's really for third-party confirmation of date and time in a lot of cases that it's most valuable to the individual. Like I said, there are some instances that require notaries and witnesses and things like that. For the documents we produce, if that's the case, we flag them for you so you know. But for as far as the role of a notary goes, notary is there to be third-party verification or disinterested party verification in a transaction. So along with that, I guess you could also look at, is it appropriate to have a related party be the notary on some sort of document that you need signed? As a best practice, probably not, but I know it can be a little bit of a headache to find a notary and or a witness. So most times if you're looking for one and having trouble finding one, most UPS stores have notaries. A lot of banks still have them. Like I said, otherwise, I think you can probably find more online at this point, that you can do remote notary, or they'll even have notaries that'll travel to you. So I know it can be a headache as part of a transaction or whatnot, but like I said, really, for the stuff that Anderson provides to our clients, if it's required or necessary, we'll include the language on there for you and make it easy enough. You just need to find the notary. And we're going to like I said, online notaries are easy enough to find these days as long as they're allowed in your area. So that's just a quick search and you could probably be in, out, and on your way. Notary services are usually pretty reasonable. The only time I would say it's gotten a little bit expensive if when I have a mobile notary come out to me, and that usually run up a little bit, but sometimes it's worth it, just depending where you are, what you're doing, what your availability is. So keep an eye out for that as well. So as always, keep taking advantage of all of our free content. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. Make sure you're looking at our other YouTube channels. There's lots of good content out there in different areas. And until next time, I will catch you on the next episode of Coffee with Carl. Thanks for joining me, everyone.